um, the excitement that was the NFL draft. Howie Roseman knocked it out of the park again. Um, and we had a pretty good, most of the stuff that I've looked at from around, television and PFF and ESPN, we either got an A or an A+ grade for our draft. So once again, Howie Roseman, he hit it out of the park. And he just keeps doing the same thing. He patient when he needs to be patient, aggressive when he needs to be aggressive. I know there were some people like myself who thought we're not going to trade one of those picks to get a linebacker. We could have, made the choice and got somebody, but I think they had it in their head that they were going to try to bring Trot Jr. here. And well, I do think that there were some better options available. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that move. I'm not mad at that decision because maybe with the exception of his size, other than that, everything was all good. And that is the guy that you want on your team. And the one thing I will say is, yeah, there may be been some people. Like I said, my only drawback was his size. He's what, 6'1", maybe. And you had other guys that were 6'3", and I think Peyton Wilson is 6'4". We had an opportunity to get him, but I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I know his football IQ is going to be high. And one thing people got to remember, this guy's been learning from one of the best. And it's not osmosis, but don't think for a second that Jeremiah Trotter, his son, is playing linebacker and he didn't have anything to say or any tips to give or any film study or anything like that. Absolutely, that kid has learned some things from his dad. He has definitely learned some things from his dad. While not as big as his dad, he's big enough, and you can always put on weight. He's got good speed. And that whole class, with the exception of maybe Colson, everybody was fast and everybody was shifty. Everybody was good getting under blocks and things of that nature. So I think he'll be fine. What's up, 88s? Yeah, I think they did get Peyton Wilson. But the thing with Peyton Wilson, I didn't realize he was as old as he was, and he had that injury history. So that's some things that if you want to nitpick, you can nitpick. But I'm good with Trot Jr. Normally, I wouldn't think anything of legacy picks, but you know what? I think he earned his place. He was one of the better linebackers in college. Just to be in that list. Yes, there were linebackers above him, but just to be in that list. Let's say he was the 10th best linebacker in the draft, right? How many linebackers in the country that play in big-time football? So where did he rank in that category when you're looking at, ACC, SEC, all of the big conferences? You pulled them all together, and where did he rank? I think he could, stand his own. And at the end of the day, man, you cannot, at least I'm not going to bitch, moan, and complain because we got him in the 5th round. Not doing that. Not doing that. He probably should have went a little higher. He was probably projected to go a little bit higher. But the way things happened and the way the draft started, when all of those quarterbacks went and just, and of course the crazy move by the Atlanta Falcons. And I've heard some arguments even with that wasn't as crazy as people want to play it out to be. I'm not of that mindset. I still think it was a crazy move, but they did what they had to do. But I think Jeremiah Trotter is good. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, Will Shipley, Anaya Smith, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Trevor Keegan, Johnny Wilson, Dylan McMahon. Those were all of our draft picks, man. And I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head. Even Johnny Wilson might pay some dividends for us, man. We had a good draft. I'm never worried about who we pick at offensive line, because whoever we get, Jeff Stoutland's going to make a man out of him. That's just my opinion. I think Jeff Stoutland is that good. We have never had an offensive lineman that didn't leave here better than when he got here. So it doesn't matter who. I know we just signed, what's his name, Beckham from the Jets. That was a pretty good, that's one of those things where it's almost like, you buying a used car and you look at your uncle's like, hey, can you fix this? And he's like, yeah, I got you. That's exactly what it is, because he had a pretty bad injury history in his short tenure. The kid's only 25 years old, man. So he's a big boy. I didn't realize he was this big. He's only 25 years old. I believe he is 6'7". Is he might almost be as big as Mailata. Star Louisville, 25-year-old Becton entered the league as the number one overall pick by the Jets in 2020. Becton has been marred by inconsistent play, disappointing injuries that magnified during his tenure in New York. Becton missed the entire 2022 season due to an injury to his kneecap, but started all 16 games that he played. Now, this is where it gets kind of scary. Last season, he allowed 12 sacks, 31 hurries, and 47 total pressures for the Jets. That is not good. That is not good. But apparently Jeff Stoutland likes him, and maybe he can see some things that he needs to fix. 6'7", 367. His nickname is the Big Ticket. Okay. Let me see. The Eagles, this was Rich Samini. The Eagles have an excellent O-line coach in Jeff Stoutland, who was impressed by Becton's tape. Becton wanted a fresh start after a rough go in New York. 2 seasons wiped out by injury. So apparently Jeff Stoutland made that call and wanted this kid. And again, always watching tape. So you must be able to see something of value that you can say, we can fix that. We can do that. Yeah, Stout, Lane, Mailata, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I keep saying this and keep bringing it up. And I initially said it because of how we ended up last year on defense, but coaching matters. At every position, coaching matters. So I think he's going to be in good shape. Not much pressure on him. All he's got to do is watch and learn and listen to Jeff Stoutland. That's all he has to do. And we'll be in a good spot. That's simple enough for me. So we don't need anything crazy from him. Heck, he just has to listen and learn. So the one thing that I kind of brought up a red flag to me, and I was looking in this thing, it says before last season, Becton, 25 years old, revamped his body and dropped. Let me repeat. He dropped 50 pounds and reported to camp at 350. Good Lord. He drops 50 pounds. So that means he was a 400-pounder. That's probably why his knees was hurting so much. You can't put that much pressure on your knees being that big, moving the way they move in them trenches. That is, 350. That is a big boy. So hopefully Stoutland can get him right. But that's a bookend right there. That is a big boy. Him and Mailata. There's not too many people that's kind of gonna dwarf Lane Johnson. That's impressive. So let's see if he can move. Let's see if he can move his feet. Let's see if he can get low. This is going to be one of those things where, you're going to have to wait and see a little bit, see what happens when he gets into camp, and see what he can do. But again, you're talking about a guy that's trying to come in and revamp his career, still young, still got a lot of football left. and he got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to show and prove. He wants to show that he's not a bust and wants to be able to come in and prove it. So, but I must admit, those play stats did not look good, giving away all them sacks and all of them tackles, all those hurries and stuff like that. So, but again, I'm going to defer to Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland says he wants them. We got them. And if anything, Jeff Stoutland is the one man that can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So guess what? Yeah, he could be a swing, but that could also be. We signed up. Who was the other guy? Let me see. I think it was another free agent we signed. Yeah, Gottlieb. I can't even say this last name. Ayedze. Ayeds from offensive line from Maryland. Finished his career at Maryland, mostly playing right tackle, 6'4", 308. Played right tackle for the Terps, but his size might make him more of a guard in the NFL. So he's 24 years old. We got another one, Aneem Dankwa. Dankwa, good Lord, another big one, 6'8", 349. Started at Howard. Whew. We got some big boys, man. Our offensive line is massive. Wow. Our offensive line is massive. We got another defensive tackle, got Gabe Hall from Baylor, 6'6", 294. Started for 3 years. Looking at putting him at a 3 technique, 12 and a half sacks at Baylor in 3 years. So, yeah. Brought in another tight end, 6'4", 244. And it looks like that was it. We got Kendall Milton. I heard a couple of people mention his name. He is a big guy, 6'1", 225, 6.2 yards a carry at Georgia. That's pretty damn good. So last year, 790 yards, 14 touchdowns. That's pretty good, especially everybody's throwing. So you can only expect so much from these running backs these days. What's going on, Cody K? So, but once again, in total, in the macro, Howie Roseman knocked it out the park, man. We had a good solid draft, and we had a good solid draft with or a good solid, crop of free agents, undrafted free agents. So I think we're in good shape. Our running back room is stacked. We got some big boys back there. Tyrion, what was his last? Damian Pierce? I think that's him. Kendall Milton. We got some big boys. We got some big boys that can move. So I like that Kellen Moore is going in that direction, because if you want to know what Kellen Moore is going to do, just go back and look at 2019 with the Cowboys and how he, or just that whole tenure with the Cowboys and how he ran play action with Zeke. Now we got guys that size. We got Saquon, so we got the explosive. We got Kenny Gainwell still, and guess what? Kenny Gainwell got some pressure. He's going to be fighting for a spot, but props to Kenny Gainwell, because he's been in this situation before, and people just couldn't find a way to take his spot. So we'll see what's going to happen. Good competition. Competition brings excellence. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. But overall, we are pretty good. When you look at what's the name? What's the running back we got? Will Shipley out of Clemson. That was better than advertised. As a backup, I watched his tape. This is a guy that can shake you, can spin around you. He can make you miss. He can break your ankles. He can do all of that stuff. But the thing that I liked when I watched him is after he shakes and bakes, he is trying to get back north and south immediately. He is not trying to outrun you around the corner, and he can do that, and he has done that before, but he is a good shifty back, and he can be shifty inside the tackles. That is a very good skill set when you can make people miss inside. Not necessarily trying to beat you to the corner or something like that. He can make you miss to the inside, and he's always looking to get vertical. And that's what you like for a running back. Always trying to get north and south, always trying to get positive yards. And that is somebody that can do it, especially when you're talking about short yardage. I'm trying to see what his weight is looking like. It doesn't tell me that. I have to look that up. But yeah, I think we'll. I mean, I think it's a good pickup. I think it's a good pickup. So I don't think we have. I mean, obviously you can't tell now until they start playing and the season gets started and all of that kind of stuff. But the dudes we got, man. Bravo, Howie. Bravo. So you want to do something funny, and just to I know I beat this dead horse a lot, but now's the time after the draft is over and everybody's, sometime this week, go back and you look at everybody's draft predictions and look at how bad everybody got it wrong. That's what I like to look at. Yeah, 88s. That's a good question, bro. Yes, absolutely. But that is an ace in the hole that we'll always keep if we have to do it. And not for nothing, maybe we need to put Quinyon Mitchell back there to run it, because did you see how much that dude was squatting? Good grief. As a defensive back, he gets it in. So, yeah, I don't think we'll have to use the brotherly shove as much. But if we do, I think we're in a good spot. And not for nothing, like, hand that ball off to Saquon and let him do his thing, man. Let Saquon just get in between that guard tackle gap and everybody starts moving forward. Just start moving the pile. That's all we have to do, man. So there's some other things that we can do with that. I know Cam Jurgens is going to be ready for it. It'll be interesting to see how much they practice for it. And a little bit more we're going to get into. I'll talk about this tonight. Is the Roger Goodell's decision to let the players wear the halo helmets during the season. That's going to be interesting. I want to see what they're going to look like, because they're not going to look like those big, padded segments on the top of your helmet. I don't think that's gonna do that. Thank you, Cody K, for the reminder. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. Everybody on Twitter, if you out there, make sure you mosey on the YouTube and subscribe when you get the chance. I appreciate you. But yeah, we're gonna get into that tonight. I'm gonna go live tonight, probably around 9:30. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit more. I do want to get into some of these picks a little bit more in depth tonight. Especially like those last three, Keegan, Wilson, and McMahon, especially Wilson. This kid's got some talent. And I don't know why he dropped so much. We said the same thing last year about Nolan Smith, but it's weird how some of that stuff works out, because you never know what somebody's thinking, and they had good years and people are drafted ahead of them that didn't have as good as year. So it's a weird thing, man. And me, you guys already know I'm a sucker for a big body. I like the guys that can go up and get it. This kid is 6'7". This kid is huge, and he's a player because he was at Florida State. So yeah, man, let's throw the ball up and let that kid go up and dunk it with two hands every time he gets an opportunity. That's what we should have been doing with Julio Jones. That's what we should have been. I can go all the way back to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I used to say that all of the time, because he wasn't a great receiver, but you can't beat size. The kid was 6'3". Both his parents were Olympic athletes. I believe his mom was like an Olympic volleyballer or something like that. The bottom line is the kid was an athlete and could jump out the gym. Get that kid one job. And you tell me a DB that's going to be able to jump with him. Who's going to be able to jump with him? Corner routes, back of the end zone, all of that kind of stuff. That is a mismatch waiting to happen. I got to go watch some more of his tape. If this kid can come off the line in any way, shape, or form, he is a threat. Especially when you're looking at the average size for DBs in the NFL are still around 5'10". And heck, if you got somebody like Quignon that's 6'2", Sauce Gardner 6'2", he's 6'7", with a wingspan that's got to be out of this world. I believe he had one of the largest measured wingspans at the combine. So, okay, so we played at Arizona State and Florida State. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to watching his tape. And I want to see. I got to go back and see if Steve Smith did a scout on him. I think he did. I can't remember if it was him or if it was Keon Coleman. I don't know. 88's 100%, bro. 100%. Our red zone offense should be top 5. Absolutely. Absolutely. We should be able to move the sticks. There is no reason whatsoever that we cannot move the sticks, because we used to just go in pause mode last couple years in the red zone. It was either a big time play or we had to, brotherly shove all the way in it. But our red zone was suspect sometimes. So I'm with you 100%, man. I want to make our red zone offense be a problem. And I'm going to look at I'm going to do some in-depth film study this week, because I'm going to go back and look at some of the things that Kellen Moore did a couple of years ago. And I want to see, what we really have. We already know what we got with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert. So we've got weapons across the board now. Now we got Shipley. Now we got this kid, Johnny Wilson. We still got Albert O as a backup at tight end. And we just drafted another tight end. What was his name? I think we signed him as a free agent. Yeah, he's a free agent. Free agent. I just said his name. McCallan Castles. So that's even another one. Big guy from Tennessee. Again, playing in the SEC, so he's going up against good competition, man. So I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do. So offensive guard Trevor Keegan, so he's going to be the swing player. And when you're dealing with these big boys on the offensive line, dealing with Stoutland, all of them are going to be swing players. Yes, they are going to be in one spot, but if push come to shove and they got to go in a different direction, just like Cam Jurgens did. They'll make it happen. I'm really excited to see what Steen is going to do this year. This is his opportunity to show improve. And guys that already have good time in the classroom with Jeff Stoutland, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. So I can't wait to see it, man. We got a lot of good things coming up. We just got to get I'm waiting for the day, and I know they probably had conversations and done some things virtual. You can watch film virtually now. So, but just I want to see Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts just get together and just start ripping it up. That's what I want to see, man. Diddy, what's up, Doomsday? I never seen you in the chat before, man. I appreciate you, bro. Don't be a stranger. But Castle received the biggest bonus for the Eagles undrafted free agents. Nice. I ain't gonna get mad at getting paid, man. Get your money and your $750,000 or whatever it is for the minimum rookie. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro. Don't be a stranger, man. Doomsday Corner Sports. I'll definitely have to check you out when I get off this, man. So, but definitely appreciate you, brother. I appreciate all opinions. So, But yeah, man, Aeneas Smith, I'm gonna have to watch more film on him. And again, like I was saying, and that's one of the things I'm gonna do later on during this week, if I have time. I want to go back and just pull up all of these mock drafts to see what everybody thought, and all the prognosticators and everybody that think they know everything. And that is why I always say, man, we are all just guessing. That's it. Yeah, man. I'm Cody K. I'm with you, bro. All of them. Aeneas Smith, Johnny Wilson. I think for the first time, and I even had some, if you go back and look at 22, when we went to the Super Bowl, we still had some nitpicks with Shane Steichen and the things that we were doing. Because I remember, even though we went all the way to the Super Bowl, every time we ran that damn trips left, trips right, wide receiver screen, it would just piss me off. Because I would just like, we run that play when we can't think of nothing else to call. And I used to hate it. And then it just continued and got worse in 23. So hopefully those type of decisions and those type of plays are out, and we will have a more logical and expansive game plan when it comes to our different offensive sets, our shifts, our motions. Kellen Moore will do some things to confuse the defense. That's what I'm trying to see. And every time we come up against somebody that's got a defensive back that's 5'9", I'm putting Johnny Wilson in the game. That's just me. Know your personnel. And I think we are in a situation where we are going to have some things that's going to surprise some people. I, like a whole lot of people, had no clue who Jalen Hunt was. Never heard of him. Never heard of the school. Shout out to the 1AA Christian, was a Georgia Christian or something like that. So never knew who he was. Had never heard of him. And if it wasn't from my guy, Ian Cummings from PFF, also DeBona said the same thing. They had him highly ranked. He just wasn't a big name. Had a good combine, had a good Senior Bowl. And it seems to me that a lot of these guys, the biggest test for a lot of these pro prospects is the Senior Bowl, because you're going up, you're doing drills against competition. And you're doing drills against top competition. So that's where you can kind of make a name for yourself and get nasty and do the things you need to do. So apparently Jalen Hunt transferred from Cornell to Houston Christian. That's what it is, Houston Christian. But he transferred from Cornell. So if he at Cornell, he's not a dummy. So he can pick up the defense and the things you need him to do. And the obvious comp with him would be Marcellus Wiley. Went to Columbia, was a good defensive tackle, and did some things. And obviously a little bit bigger, but apparently the guy can play. That's all I care about. He can play. And when both Ian and DeBona both told me that this kid was ranked like 87th, and this is a prime example. If this kid, with everything that he's done, if he would have went to a Georgia or a Florida State or a LSU or name any other big school, he probably would have been the first round pick. But, it's funny how you got to watch the tape when you go to a big school. When you go to a small school, it's like you got to move mountains. You got to part the Red Sea. So you don't get the long leash you do at the big school. So, but it is what it is. That ain't nothing new. But big shout out to all of 1AA schools. So Wilson just got to be Shaq. Box out in High Point. Yeah, man. Yeah, if they use him, because we don't know what Aeneas Smith ain't no scrub. So they're going to be fighting for time. And I could see them putting some packages together for Johnny Wilson and Aeneas Smith, but you got to be careful if you're going to put a package together for somebody, and the only time he comes in the game is for a thing. He is either the target or a decoy, and either way, it can get figured out. So you got to be creative when you come across stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, I'm with you, man. And Aeneas Smith, let me see. He's more of a small one. He's 5'10. 5'10, 200. So he was about my size when I played. So is he a burner? I don't know. Let me see. Is he a burner? Is Aeneas Smith a burner? No, he's not. He's just a good receiver that you can play anywhere. He ran a 4.55 at the combine. Let me see what his okay. He was injured and still ran a 4.47. So I can deal with that. What's up, Philly? I can deal with that. 21 reps at 225, so he's strong. 6'8", cone drill. All right, so he's got some skills. But at the end of the day, his name got called. You know what I mean? He was round 5 and his name got called. So he got to have some skills. He was down there with oh, you know what? No, I'm thinking of Xavier Worthy and Ad Mitchell were at Texas, not Texas A&M. So at the end of the day, that's a good pick. And it's going to be up to him to prove it. But it's weird. And I would imagine it goes from team to team. But I'm not. I've seen 4th and 5th rounders get cut before. Doesn't happen often. But it's not out of the realm. So I expect these guys to come in and compete because nothing is given. And does that make somebody like Britton Covey expendable? Because now we've got you got Cooper DeJean, you got Aeneas Smith, you got Will Shipley. All 3 of those guys can be returners if need be. So there's going to be a lot of competition to get your hands on the ball, man. And that's a good position to be in, and I'm all for it, man. The Eagles, I said it last year. The Eagles right now, as we sit today, the Eagles defense is better than it was last year. Because now we got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, and we got a couple big tackles at free agency, man. So I love it. Peter Riley, what is going on, my brother? It is all good in the neighborhood, man. We are just basking in the genius that is Howie Roseman. That's what's going on, Pete. So appreciate you dropping in. Don't think I've seen your name before, but please don't be a stranger. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man, we gonna have nice wide receiver competition. Joseph Nagata, I totally forgot him. Dude. Wow, I didn't even realize he was still on the roster. And all of this stuff is gonna change again, man. So it's coming back. So we're gonna be getting all of these names together. I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth tonight. I'll be back on at 9:30 this evening. So this is going to be fun, man. I am liking what I am seeing. Shout out to Howie, man. Just sat patient. And I ain't gonna lie, I was getting a little worried when he kept passing up all of them linebackers. And it was yes, sir, Pete. I'm with you, bro. That 100%. We're gonna be better. He just kept trading up, trading down. I think we at one point we had 3 trades in a row or something like that. But when you look at what we've done and how we ended up, at the end of the day, what we ended up with. Let me see. Eagles 2025 draft. picks. So we did all of that wheeling and dealing. And I know. Let me see. So how we did the wheeling and dealing. That's the first round. That's not what I'm looking for. I know that I saw an article before that listed everything that we did and how we set up for next year. 2023. Let's get that. All right, so we've got Denver Eagles on. I think this is correct. This is the Eagles traded. Eagles traded 2023. The Eagles traded 25th. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what is our roster for next year as far as the picks? So it looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, we got a first round pick, a second round pick, 2/3, a 4, 2 5s, and 2 7s. If I'm reading this correctly, I'm unsure if this is the right year, but I think it is. I'm trying to look for some other stuff, but I want to get it exactly. Third round pick. Yeah, I think we're good. A first, a second, 2 3s, 2 5s, a 7, and 2 7s. So we're I mean, think about that, man. Think about that for next year. All the stuff that we're going through this year, and we are already set for next year. And you already know next year he's gonna do the same thing and flip those picks again. You already know he's gonna do that. So, man, Howie vision. Facts. Howie vision. They ought to make hats with like shades built in the front of them. So, hey, and if you actually make that happen, I want a finder's fee for that. Just saying. But man, we are in good shape, bro. We are in good shape. I love it. Howie Roseman proves he's the best there is at what he does. And sometimes what he does isn't very nice. Shout out to Wolverine. But Howie Roseman, man, knocks it out the park. His batting average has gone back up. He's got to be batting like 585 right now. With a couple home runs. You know, when he drafted Jalen, that turned out to be an in the park home run. The power, yes, it is very, very possible. It is very possible. At the very least, because of what happened last year with all them players from Georgia and Nolan Smith falling and everything, I would say yes, because this is very similar to Nolan Smith falling to us. But when you end up with 2 players and both players on some draft boards, they were the number 1 player. So you got 2 players that were arguably the number 1 defensive player available in the draft, or at least cornerback at their position. We had 2 players like that, and we got both of them. And we didn't have to move up to get neither one of them. I know we traded back up, but we had traded down, and we did some wheeling and dealing, so we really didn't lose anything to get that pick, and it was worth it. If you want to argue that Quinyon Mitchell is the number 1 defensive back, the answer is yes. If you want to argue that Cooper DeJean was the number 1, the answer is yes. So we are in a good place, man. We are in a very good place, bro. So what's up, Clifton? I appreciate you, man. Let's go. Where everybody come and check me out at the end, man. So listen. Now here's for Clifton, the Power Within, Peter Riley, you guys that are new here. This is what I call live at lunch. And what I do, I go from 12:10 to about now, 12:50. This is usually everybody's. I'm in New Jersey. This is usually the lunchtime. You get off at 12, got to clock back in at 1. So I usually end it right around now. Gives you plenty of time to finish your sandwich, wash your hands, and get back to it. But I will be back on tonight at 9:30 p.m. and we're going to go through this a little bit more. Man, dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm right back where I was last year, coming back in after the Super Bowl, except now we got some better pieces. We got some better coaches in place. And the expectations, my only expectation is for our offense to be a little bit better and a little bit more logical, and our defense just to be average. And already I'm saying that and I'm staying put with that, but I believe our defense is above average. So we'll be good. All right. I'll check you later, Cody K, man. Clifton, I love to try to pick 2 at the 5th round. I didn't expect him to be available, but the linebackers were slow to go. If we did not get Jeremiah Trotter, I was like, we could have picked up that kid. I believe his name was Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State. He ended up leading he led the SEC in tackles and was tied for the lead in sacks. So there were a lot of good linebackers available, and I'm good with Jeremiah Trotter. I am good with that. This kid is going to be a player. This kid has got the football IQ already. We're good to go, man. No gripes. No gripes. Everybody's going to have nitpicks. You welcome to it. I'm good. The Philadelphia Eagles are good. All right. So I'm going to get up out of here, man. Thank you for joining me. All you guys, new folks, first time with the family, man. Just make sure you subscribe, click on that notification bell, and definitely come back. Definitely come back tonight. Clifton, we're going to go into more of this tonight because I just saw an article. I just read an article before I jumped online. If you look at our size across the board on our offensive line, we are massive. So we're going to do that, man. Peter Riley, let's go Birds. Cody K, Clifton, 88s, Philly, all you guys. Doomsday Corner Reports. I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to get up out of here, but make sure you tune back in tonight at 9:30. We're going to do it again, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth with it, man. And I want to hear some more feedback. I'm working on some things to do, like some call-in so you can jump online and get you in the chat, but not quite ready for that. But we will be doing that in the future. And I'm working on getting some guests. I'm trying to see if I can get my boy Willie T in, or one of my guys. That guy named Ron Carpenter used to play for the Rams, won a Super Bowl with the Rams. So we're going to definitely try to get a guest in this week and try to make some things happen, man. So you guys get out of here, get back to work. I appreciate you joining me, man. Don't forget to prescribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys tonight. Be there, be square, man. Go Birds.